Wow, did you hear about the fire on Mir?
Yeah, I did. That sounds scary and cool at the same time, but at least nobody died.
How do they see through all the smoke in space?
I wonder if there's a way to improve firefighting in space for the near future. Oh, did you know my dad used to fight fires in the Navy, and they used thermal imagers to help locate the fire?
Huh, I saw a fire drill once and they used smoke machines to simulate the smoke.
Wow. The Navy and the ISS
Also known as the International Space Station.
have a lot in common. They're both cut off from the rest of the world and have to act as their own firefighters. I bet there's a lot that NASA could learn from the Navy.
Yes, there are a lot of similarities between firefighting on the ISS and firefighting on a Navy ship. We set out to find ways to improve firefighting in space. Based on what we learned this year, we have 2 ideas for improvement. 1, we suggest that the astronauts on the ISS use thermal imagers to help with locating the fire in a room filled with smoke. And 2, we suggest that when doing fire drills on the ISS, the astronauts should wear fog goggles, which we call foggles, to simulate the smoke from a fire.
The Mir fire, which happened in 1997, almost killed 3 astronauts. But we can continue to learn from it. A lot of improvements have been made in the time since then, most of them in fire prevention. But the Titanic teaches us that no ship is really unsinkable.
We're focusing on training astronauts to locate fires on the ISS. Fires in space are weird. We learned from Zach Campbell and Kim Reed from Virginia Space about how fires work in space. On Earth, fires look the way do because hot air rises, but there's no rising off Earth. Because of this, it is difficult to locate where the fire is coming from.
That's right. Visibility is a huge problem when dealing in fires. We talked to Chief Huffman from the Norfolk Firefighting School of the Navy. And one of the most surprising things we learned is just how quickly a room can get filled with smoke. Both on a Navy ship and in the ISS, the most likely fire to occur is an electrical fire. These fires can fill an entire room with smoke in just seconds.
One idea that we learned from the Navy is that we would like to implement the use of thermal imagers to locate a fire on the ISS. We do understand that if a fire were to occur on the ISS, it would be an electrical fire, so it would happen inside a big rack. And so the thermal imager would only show a huge rack that's hotter than the rest of them.
Another idea for improving firefighting in space is to do fire drills. When doing a fire drill, we would like to suggest to NASA to use fogged goggles, or foggles, to simulate smoke filling a room. The NASA doesn't want to use foggles, though, because they're worried of astronauts damaging any equipment during the training. But the Navy said that we should use it because if they do damage any equipment, they should learn how to fix it when there is a fire or any crisis when they need to fix it. Another solution to prevent damage on the ISS is to have a spotter, or a person who can tell you where you're going.
Our sources that shared with us and we shared with them are Mr. Frost, who's a flight direct controller at NASA, Chief Hoffman, who is a firefighting trainer in Norfolk, Mr. Campbell and Miss Reed, who work for Virginia Space, and Dr. Ruff, who is the lead of spacecraft fire safety at NASA John Glenn Research Center.
To wrap things up, we talked about the possible use of fogged goggles, we call foggles, and thermal imagers on the ISS. We're trying to get NASA to test and hopefully accept, improve, and use these solutions. We've already talked to the head of firefighting at NASA. These solutions are quite cost effective. Our model of foggles only costs $6. It only uses some safety goggles and some flooring foam. Thermal imagers cost about $2,000, not including shipping and handling. Though these estimates don't include the cost of putting these things into space.
All right. You get the paper, you pay for the paper.
Aww.